Good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I'm Paul Clark and welcome to my studio. Now today we really have got something totally different. We're going on a road trip and I'm getting on my bike to do some outdoor painting and sketching, or en plein air as it's known. And you never know who we might meet along the way. But to start with, I just want to give you some tips and advice on how sketching can help to improve you as an artist. Let's get going, shall we? Now, just before some of you say, oh no, not drawing, I do think it's worth mentioning that good old saying, you can't make a good painting from a bad drawing. Now, although there's absolutely nothing wrong with drawing from photographs or tracing, I do it all the time, I do it for this channel, and you can learn a lot from it. But if you really want to advance as an artist, I think drawing things from real life objects that you see in front of you, is always going to help you improve. Because if you think about it, a photograph is a two-dimensional image, and you'd be copying that to another two-dimensional image. But drawing something that you see in front of you is a three-dimensional image, and you're converting that to a two-dimensional image, and it's a completely different thing. A real thing in front of you is completely different to a frozen moment in time, because it's got light, it can change, you can look around it. It's just a different way of drawing. Now, I always like to tell this story. Many years ago, I was in the beautiful city of Bath, and I was chatting to a young art student who was there sketching Bath Abbey, who's had a lovely drawing, and a couple came along and said, wow, that's fantastic, how did you do that? And he looked a bit confused and he said, well, I just drew what I saw. Now, it's not as simple as that, but there's a lot of truth in what he says, because good drawing isn't about drawing at all. Now bear with me, because you can all draw, I promise you that. If you can write, then you can draw. But what you need to be taught is how to see, how to look at things and how to observe things. And that will only come about from you practicing and going out, drawing things you see in real life, drawing things around the home. You don't have to go out to the depths of the forest. You can just draw things around your house, in your garden, down at the local park. But it's all great practice at getting your artist's eye to see things as they really are in real life. So if you can just find yourself, say, 15-20 minutes a day to draw something, and ideally if you draw something different every day, then it'll all be stored up in that hard disk of a brain of yours, and it'll come out again when you need it. And I can't think of a better thing to do if you just need a break, you want to relax, have a cup of coffee, switch off from the world. There's nothing better to do than drawing. And if you do that, I promise you, your paintings will improve as your drawings get better. One thing I would highly recommend is to always keep a sketchbook on the go. It doesn't have to have great art in it. You don't even need to show it to anyone. It can just be full of your own private little doodles. Great to take on holiday, or just sketch anything that takes your fancy. I sometimes use it for planning paintings, or just for the simple joy of drawing. They're also a wonderful visual diary that always takes me back to the day when I drew them. Just give yourself, say, 15 to 20 minutes a day, and it's a wonderful way to relax. So let's start with a simple sketch. Now I'm holding my pencil quite far down the end of the barrel here, and this will just give me more movement in my wrist for quick strokes. And I'm just getting the basic shape in without committing to any dark lines. Now those are our pentimenti lines, as the Italian term is known, and they're purely guides to help me plan the drawing. All the sketchy lines you can leave, because they just help to give that lovely loose feel. Now I'm constantly moving around the drawing rather than finishing one area, which will help to give more consistency to my line work. And I'm adjusting the proportions all the time. Once you're happy with the basic shape, you can then start to put more pressure on your pencil to get a darker and more precise line. Always try and reduce any object to its most simple form, big shapes. So take a car for instance. It could be a real challenge, but if we really consider that all it is a couple of boxes, we can then make our car fit the shape. Now, admittedly, this won't win any design awards at the Geneva Motor Show, but it's still a car. Well, I hope you found that interesting. So, are you ready? We're off. So whenever I'm off to do some sketching, I always take the bare minimum, starting with my sketchbook, of course, one brush and two pencils, collapsible water pot, my Van Gogh on-the-go travel paints, some kitchen roll, sunscreen, sunglasses, phone in case I fall off my bike, porcelain chicken, bubble bath, cuddly toy, and of course a steam iron. And away we go. Now I've looked on the map and I'm looking for a footpath that should take us down to some small lakes, which could make for some great painting opportunities. And I think this just might be the one. So I've hidden my bike and I'm setting off on foot. Now a good tip is to look where you're going to avoid stepping in a cow pat. Now this looks like the way. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. It's like a little oasis. And there's not a soul about. It's all rather beautiful. Now I've come across this little stream which feeds the lakes, and I reckon here is a lovely little spot. So not a great bit of filming unless you were doing a study of my left ear roll. But you can see I'm getting in the basic elements and using some diagonal hatching to get those darker values. Now for the colour, and I'm working as quickly as possible with lots of wet in wet blends of greens and raw sienna. And I thought a nice little touch is to use the water from the stream to mix my colours. I've got a target to try and finish this in 10 minutes, so I'm really trying to keep it simple and trying to avoid any unnecessary detail. I reckon that'll do. So off we go again to the next venue. Well, it's a perfect time for a short break and a glass of something nice, and it would be rude not to stop.
Wait, you can't park now?
Well, would you believe it? It's Margot and her brother Jez who's down for the weekend.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers. And they've come to do some sketching too. Now, just as I did with the chicken, I'm just loosely sketching in the basic shape and always readjusting as I go. Remember, observation is everything. You need to be looking at your subject just as much as you look at your paper. And try not to use a rubber or an eraser, because it really doesn't matter if everything's not in exactly the right place. It's just a sketch, and you can add in or take out anything you want. I also hope you'll notice how often I change the angle of my wrist, just to make drawing a straight line that much easier. And if you're interested in perspective on buildings, I have a video on the subject, link above. Now I'm coming in much stronger with my pencil marks, and I'm happy to see them through my watercolour wash. And I never stay on one area too long, as I like to wander around my drawing, building up the picture in one, rather than finishing one area. And now for the colour, and this is where these little travel sets are really useful. Again, working really quickly and not worrying about the paint merging into each other. Sometimes I'll produce a finished painting from one of these simple sketches, as a photo can often tempt you into painting too exact. Just relax and enjoy the experience. And as I've said many times, never worry about making mistakes, as you learn from those as much as you will your successes. And here's Margot's lovely little scene. And a great little sketch of the pub from Jez. Okay, so it's now time to get back. And I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I've had a really fabulous day. And I also hope it will encourage you to get out and just observe what you see around you and keep it forever. Thanks everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, like and leave a comment. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all again next week. So bye for now.